Hi Daniel and Karen, it's Rob. I'm over at the house. It's Monday morning. Donato's coming by later this week, I think Tuesday or Wednesday if I'm not mistaken. I think Wednesday, to do the outstanding masonry touch-up work needed around the house. So I'm just going to walk you through the areas that I saw as I walked around the house that still look like they need some work. So first things first is right at the front entry to the right of the stairs. You've still got a bunch of really poor deteriorated bricks where the faces have all chipped off. I think because this is a focal point as you walk up the front stairs to the house, you'd want to make this look a little bit cleaner. So we're going to ask them to replace these bricks with nice clean new bricks and fill these in, tidying this sort of front entry up. That's item number one. Number two is around the side of the house, as most of the remaining items are. First things first, we are going to ask Donato to, we'll get him up on a ladder and we'll remove the old electrical clevis and mast. That's the clevis, that's the mast. We're going to cut those off, or we'll unbolt the clevis and we'll cut off the mast just inside the wall, and we'll fill a new brick over that so that you won't have these two things sitting out in the middle of the wall where they don't need to be, as you have a new clevis and mast over here. So we'll remove those and get those cut off. Moving further along the wall, there's a vent here over the side entry door that's dead. It's an old existing vent, so we'll remove that and fill in the brick and patch around it. Around the new venting pipes for the new furnace system, we're going to have Donato just scrape out some of the foam that's around these pipes and just fill them with a little bit of mortar, so that once it's filled with mortar, we can properly caulk and silicone around the middle, look nice and clean. I'm also going to ask him to fill a little bit more mortar patch around here at the ends of the AC hoses and wires and whatnot. Just get that cleaned up a little bit so that it's not an open penetration point. Next on the list, to the left of the gas pipe here, there's the old line, or the old hole rather, where the gas line used to go into the wall back when it used to be inside the old mechanical room. So we're going to replace this brick and pop a new one in here, making it look like that hole was never there. And we are also going to cut off this old venting pipe, which I believe was from the old water tank, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to cut off this pipe inside the wall, replace some bricks around here, get rid of this crappy looking mortar, fill in these holes with new mortar and get this all cleaned up so that won't be sticking out anymore. We're going to do a little bit of tidying up around the mortar joints at the kitchen exhaust vent along the wall. It just looks like it needs a little more filling up and evening out of the mortar joints. Ideally, while he's up on the ladder, I'm going to ask him if we can snip off these old phone cables that come across and then down the wall, as they just end here and they're not doing anything. Now that Bella's come and connected their new line into our Cat 6 over here, those lines are superfluous and don't need to be there anymore, and I'd rather them not just be hanging against the wall for no reason. So we'll cut those off if we can. I'm also going to have Donato address some of these little holes and little spots where where there's some cracks in the mortar. We're going to fill a little bit of mortar perhaps around this hose bib, get rid of any plugs and whatnot, any holes that don't need to be here in the corner here. We're also going to close in the hole, the old hose bib. You can see that the old hose bib is here. It used to be inside the wall like that. Now that the new hose bib's over here, we remove this and we just gotta fill the block, and we'll snip off this wire and take the screw out, and that'll be gone and closed in. And then finally, as I'm just looking over here, to the left of the patio doors, there's this big diagonal crack line going down sort of diagonally through the wall and through the mortar. So I'm going to ask Donato if there's anything he can do to clean that up, at least through the mortar sections, just to tuck it, to point the little bits of mortar. If there's any cracks in the brick like this one, I'll ask him if he has bricks that he can replace this one with, but more than anything we'll fill up some of the cracks in the mortar so it cleans it up a little bit. So that's the work that I'm expecting to have Donato take care of when he comes back. Nothing else is sort of jumping out at me as needing any specific masonry work, except for obviously The deck, which has to be redone with new flagstone and whatnot, that would be something you'd have a landscaper do. Donato doesn't really do that type of work, so I'll have him address the brickwork, the filling in old holes. We'll put some mortar around this conduit for the landscape power, and then again we'll silicone around that. So that's basically the scope of work that I'm going to have Donato do and come back. He'll do it on a time and materials basis. I don't imagine any of this work, as there's not really much of it, taking more than maybe a half day to 3/4 tops, depending on if he brings a helper or not. So just wanted to let you guys know what it is we're looking at doing with Donato. Again, this wasn't quoted previously, as we didn't know the extent of the touch-ups and the holes and stuff that were going to be left, that were going to be unused. We wanted to bring him back once at the end and just get all the remaining outstanding items done. So that being said, I'll just post this to you guys, let you know. If you guys could just give me a quick okay on that work, I'll get Donato out here. I think he's already scheduled for Wednesday morning, and we'll get these items taken care of. Thanks so much.